What up, people? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the February 11th episodes of AEW Rampage and WWE Smackdown. But first off, I want to thank all the new subscribers to the House of Wrestling YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for all those who leave comments, likes, shares. I greatly appreciate it. Did not expect it to grow this quickly, but man, thank you guys so much. I do have more in store for you as far as variety and just different topics and stuff like that. I'm just working slowly to just build something where you guys can be entertained, and basically this is just my fandom I'm sharing with you guys. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. So I'm going to kick this off again with AEW Rampage. This was a fun show. It's amazing how 1 hour of wrestling, when you have talented wrestlers, you have a mix of wrestlers who are over with the crowd, who are fun, energetic, and just dope matches with really good backstage promos and video packages. It was fun, all in 1 hour. I loved it. So it started off with Roppongi Vice, which is Tripp, Beretta, and Rocky Romero versus the Young Bucks. Ooh, man, this is a really fun match, especially if you were watching both shows, SmackDown and Rampage. This was a nice palate cleanser for what you saw on Rampage. And this is really cool. There was a lot of things that I've seen with the Young Bucks in this match that they were doing things that I haven't seen them do in like quite a while. You could say it was somewhat stuff that they were doing in New Japan and probably Ring of Honor. If you watched and everything, it was like, ooh, wow, that's interesting. They look very smooth. One thing I have noticed about the Young Bucks in the last few matches, I don't know if it's because I think it was Matt or Nick Jackson that they had like some back issue or something like that, but they've become very smooth in the ring. A lot of people don't give them credit. Very smooth and very just that antagonist heel, that arrogant, pompous heel, like two Shawn Michaels. Just like, just beat the hell out of them. But no, this was a really good match. It was a fun match. There was a spot where the Young Bucks knocked Tripp, Beretta, and Rocky Romero outside the ring, and they're celebrating. Orange Cassidy, he goes underneath the ring, and the Young Bucks look at each other like, they go to grab him. This hand pops up with this thumb. They pull it out, and lo and behold, it is the one and only, the infamous Danhausen. Man, he had a huge pop from the crowd, man. This guy is funny. I know a lot of people, some people don't get into him, or, they don't dig it. They're still like, who is this guy? Why is he, have this following? To each their own. Again, it's pro wrestling. Everything's subjective. What you may like, I may not like, and what I like, you may not like. But in the end, they're catering to somebody. But yeah, this was a fun spot. This was a fun match. Man, Trent Beretta has done. He's had some really good matches since he's returned. He looks smoother. That's something about AEW Rampage matches. Like, you're starting to see a lot of wrestlers who are they're smooth, slick. You could tell that their confidence just at a high level. But man, this was such a great match. We all know who won. The Young Bucks. That was a pretty cool finish. Tripp Beretta came in, knocking people out, and out of nowhere, Mr. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bullet Club member, guy who was just on Impact Wrestling yesterday. You know who he is. The Switchblade, Jay White, came out, helped out the Young Bucks, and it was interesting because he left the ring and he was going up the ramp, and the Young Bucks were there, and as soon as he was talking to the Young Bucks, they cut to commercial. It's like, oh, why are you teasing us? I tweeted this on my Twitter account. This whole dynamic with Jay White, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks is very interesting. We do have Revolution a few weeks away. Of course, if you watch Dynamite, it's somewhat foreshadowing that we're probably going to get Adam Cole and Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. So this whole dynamic is going to be interesting. But man, this added another layer. And the cool announcement is next Friday for AEW Rampage is going to be airing 6 p.m. Central Standard Time right before the NBA All-Star Weekend coverage. You're going to get the Switchblade versus Tripp Beretta. That's going to be dope. So yeah, you had that match. Then you had a promo with Bryan Danielson discussing why Moxley and Punk, he wasn't offended by it because what Bryan Danielson did had a one-night stand. For me, I'm looking for something long-term. Matt Sydal comes in with Lee Moriarty. Bryan Danielson and Matt Sydal, they're going back and forth, and Lee Moriarty's like, hey, you guys are talking like I'm not here. I'm ready to step up to the challenge. And Bryan Danielson's like, okay, all right. You got a warrior here. All right. AEW Dynamite next week. You're going to get Bryan Danielson versus Lee Moriarty. That is going to be a match. I am telling you, whoever watches this video, you are going to want to watch that match next week on Dynamite between Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty. You're going to see some stuff that you probably haven't seen in a while, and you're probably going to see some stuff that you're going to be like, whoa, this is dope. So from there, you had Britt Baker versus Robin Renegade. This was a really fun match. Shout out to Robin Renegade. And she's one half of a tag team. Forgive me. I can't remember what her name, but it's her and her twin sister. They've been blowing up social media on Instagram and Twitter. More importantly, more on Instagram. Like, you need to check them out. Check out Robin Renegade. I can't remember her name. Maybe they're the Renegades or something like that. Forgive me. But you need to check them out. They are hot right now on the independents. They're making a name for themselves. They are a dope tag team. This was a really cool match between Britt Baker and Robin Renegade. You could tell at times there was this slight clunkiness, but then at the same time, you could see like a fluidity and everything. So this was a really cool match. Britt Baker wound up winning, but right after the match, she put her in the Brit lock. Then all of a sudden, Thunder Rosa comes out. She starts beating up Britt Baker. Jamie Hayter comes out. She starts beating up Thunder Rosa. Mercedes Martinez comes out. She throws Jamie Hayter off Thunder Rosa. Starts attacking Thunder Rosa. Jamie Hayter throws Mercedes Martinez. Bear with me. And you have this confrontation between Mercedes Martinez and Jamie Hayter. We know that's going to lead to something that's going to be interesting. I'm all for it. From there, you had a backstage segment between Leyla Hirsch and Kris Statlander, and whoa. This is probably one of the most interesting feuds in the women's division, and this needs to be highlighted more because this is dope, and both women wrestlers, they are phenomenal. Leyla Hirsch should be in Daniel Bryanson's group. Kris Statlander has done a phenomenal job since she's returned from her injury, I believe last spring. She's been tearing it up. But there's this line. Leyla Hirsch, she talks about how she was given up for adoption, and I know struggle and this and that, and Kris Statlander's talking about, oh, your behavior is unprofessional, and I'll tell you how much your behavior is unprofessional. And this is what Kris Statlander said to Leyla Hirsch in response to her being adopted. If this was your behavior as a child, it's no wonder your parents gave you up. Damn. That's, whew. Damn. That was my response. She said, I was like, whoa. Damn. From there, you have Hook taking on Blakely. Hook, big ovation. Check out this match because, man, there was a lot of moves that Hook you haven't seen before in his matches. Of course, the arm drags and the suplexes of that. You're kind of familiar with his match, but, man, he did some counters to this guy. Shout out to Blakely. Really made Hook look very good. Loved it. But yeah, he's over. There were moments where Hook was looking to the crowd and just, oh, you want more? So you could tell Hook is a babyface. Can't wait till Hook eventually takes that FTW championship off of Ricky Starks, and we just get a run of Hook with that FTW championship, which would be so dope. From there, we get the backstage segment between Jurassic Express and the, I was going to call them the Ass Boys, but that's Danhausen's trademark on them, the Gun Club. And so cool. I love Rampage because you get that, for the main event, you're going to get Mark Henry saying, it's time for the main event. And he just adds so much to it. So it was pretty fun. But no, this match was really cool. I know some people may not get into Jurassic Express and, of course, Billy Gunn's sons, the Gun Club and everything. They're like, oh, I like the more established guys and stuff like that. I can understand that. But this was a really cool match. Jurassic Express, as tag team champions, have had some pretty cool matches and pretty solid matches. I think what helps them during this run as tag team champions is that they have yet to face the Young Bucks, which it seems like they were wrestling the Young Bucks for the past 2 years since AEW has existed. It was like, oh my God, another match. Okay, another match. But no, this was really cool match. Again, this was a fun AEW Rampage. If you're watching this, hey, this is a cool Rampage to watch before the Super Bowl this Sunday. Just, hey, let me watch something, just take my mind off and just, boom, watch it. Or, let's say after the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. You might be disappointed. This might be a perfect thing to watch after the Super Bowl. But, man, this was a really good show. I recommend it. But the show before it, WWE Smackdown. Man, it's... I don't get it. All that talent, and it just seems like they're on autopilot going into Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. All that talent. If you watch my reviews, and I say this all the time, WWE has an enormous amount of talent, but how they portray them and how they use them is very underwhelming, and it's almost lethargic. It's almost like, yeah, we know we have them, but yeah, we're just gonna, like, it comes across very disingenuous. It's like, you could do more with these people. But the key, it's hard to say what stood out. It was good to see Kofi and Big E, but it's hard to see Kofi and Big E together, knowing that, like, Big E isn't even mentioned for the WWE Championship match at Elimination Chamber. He's not even in it, and he was a former champ. And it's like, is he going to get a rematch, which he's entitled to? But it's WWE, so he might not get that match till another year or two. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with New Day and with Xavier Woods and Kofi and Big E. Xavier Woods is doing this thing with G4. I said this before on a few videos. I would not be surprised if within a year or two, the New Day is in another wrestling company. And not necessarily AEW, just in a new wrestling company. So yeah, it started off with Sonya Deville comes out, and Adam Pearce comes out reading an email from Vince McMahon, and is basically saying that Sonya Deville has been abusing her power. What did make sense is, like, you guys didn't notice this, like, for the past 6 months? That she was abusing her power? Like, you didn't notice this? Now you... it didn't make that. That's what started the show off. So again, a lot of people. It was cool that the whole feud between Naomi and Sonya Deville was like, all right, cool. But then it's like, it's still going on, and it's like, can we like get some form of conclusion to this? But it's WWE. They're gonna do what they want to do. It's just how it is. You get a backstage segment, or you get a recap between Kofi and Big E against the Los Lotharios. Big E and Kofi faced the Los Lotharios again. It was a solid match. They actually, just brought the life to this Smackdown starting off. Honestly, they should have started this match off first to get the crowd into it, then do the Sonya Deville promo, which is something that, again, I've stated on numerous reviews for WWE that, like, it's just like there's certain segments after you watch, you're just like, man, why did they have it here? Like, they should have put it here, like, switch this segment. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, I would have preferred to have Big E face the Los Lotharios starting off the night, and then, go into the Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, the email from Vince McMahon. But yeah, it was a pretty solid match. But again, Big E deserves better than this, man. Like, in 1 month, he goes from WWE champion, basically WWE champion, to not even a month. In 2 months, or you could say a month and a half. Forgive me, but a month and a half. He goes from WWE champion to back in the tag division with Kofi. Like, it doesn't make sense. You had a backstage segment with the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. They beat them up, and they took their headgear or something like that. Bear with me. I know if you're watching this and you're like, man, it just doesn't seem like it was that energetic. Look, if you guys know me, and again, watching my reviews, I try to be very objective with these reviews, especially with WWE, but this show, like, it just felt like on autopilot. It did not have the energy and enthusiasm. One thing I noticed, and I kept noticing, was if you watch Smackdown, if you have it on your DVR, watch it again, listen to the reaction, and watch the crowd. There was very few instances where the crowd noise was authentic, and then there was other instances, which was most of the show, if you look at the crowd and listen to the reaction, where you're like, how is it this, I'm hearing all this commotion and, cheers and reaction, and most of the crowd that I'm seeing in the audience are just like this. Makes you wonder. So you get a backstage segment with Roman Reigns, and he's basically saying, this was actually kind of funny. He said, I'm going to Goldberg. If he Goldbergs Goldberg at Elimination Chamber, I'm all for it. That's going to be hilarious. It's freaking hysterical. From there, you get another rematch between Aaliyah and Natalya. I believe Aaliyah won, or Natalya. Forgive me. Again, this is how SmackDown was. I did not care who won or anything, because it's like, I already seen this. It's okay. I'll just wait for this over, and the next thing you're going to put on. That's just how it came across. So after the match, Natalya was beating up Aaliyah, and then Xia Li comes out and saves her. Xia Li has saved people from Natalya's beatdowns at least 3 or 4 times, and she's yet to wrestle a wrestling match. And she's a badass wrestler. I really look forward to seeing her, but so from there, you get a recap of Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville, that whole thing. And then you have Sami Zayn's talk segment with Shinsuke and Rick Boogs. You get a part where Rick Boogs tries to touch the mic. He gets electrocuted. Shinsuke looks at him. It's like, oh my God. Sami Zayn runs, knees him, leaves. Like, oh my God, they need paramedics. That was the segment. Then you had a match between Happy Corbin and Cesaro. You had a little backstage segment with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Cesaro didn't even get any entrance music. Happy Corbin won the match, and then you get a backstage segment with Drew or with Madcap Moss saying, "Oh, I can't see out of this eye," and the doctor leaves the screen, and then you see the sword come up, and you see Drew McIntyre like, "Oh, so you could see, so oh, that's good." And again, another segment we have seen for the past few Smackdowns, which, again, it's not dissing the wrestlers. And I will not diss the wrestlers. However, I will critique the damn creative and how they're presenting these talented wrestlers. This was it was very dry and bland what they gave these two wrestlers to do. Madcap Moss was he was fantastic in NXT, but it wasn't entertaining. It's like, okay, what's next? From there, you had a Goldberg interview with Michael Cole, and he's basically saying, "Oh, he's gonna Goldberg me. Well, I'm gonna go back to the Goldberg back in the day. He's gonna get that." And it's kind of funny. I was tweeted it, and I'm like, do they realize the last time Goldberg was Goldberg, that was like 5 U.S. presidents ago? Like, come on, man. That was 5 U.S. presidents ago, and you want to go, like, I enjoyed Goldberg when he was in WCW, and, of course, his early part of WWE, and then, of course, when he returned in 2017, especially his match against Brock at WrestleMania, but just move on to something else. I wish they would use these legends like AEW and Impact Wrestling as managers, but this wasn't it. Finally, you get the main event, Naomi and Charlotte. The last 20 minutes of SmackDown was fantastic. This was a dope match. I recommend you guys watch this match between Naomi and Charlotte. This was a banger. Naomi really showcased why she was a former WWE Women's Champion. I loved it. A lot of back and forth. Both women made each other look phenomenal in the ring. Of course, Charlotte wins. She starts beating her up. Sonya Deville comes in there. All of a sudden, music hits. Ronda Rousey comes in for the save. She beats up Charlotte. She beats up Sonya Deville. You have the final ending of Ronda Rousey and Naomi looking at Charlotte and Sonya Deville. So we'll see where that goes from here. But overall, SmackDown really was a show you can go on YouTube and look at the highlights. It wasn't anything like, ooh, this is interesting. Oh, that's interesting. It just, again, I'm going to say autopilot. But it is what it is. But yeah, check out the Naomi Charlotte match from SmackDown. And I'm going to say the Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice. Yeah, those two matches, well, even Hook. Actually, Hook and Blake Lee, Britt Baker, Robin Renegade, and Charlotte and Naomi. Those were pretty much the top matches I would recommend you guys see and watch and everything. But yeah, overall, it was a decent night of wrestling. Wasn't anything, oh my God, with the exception of Jay White and just the announcement of Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty for AEW fans. But yeah, WWE fans, I'm a wrestling fan, but I know if you're a hardcore WWE fan, I feel for you. This creative for these wrestlers is, man, this is terrible. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. We got the Super Bowl coming on Sunday. I'm not going to give my prediction because this is wrestling. I could give my prediction. I really want the Bengals to win. I don't know. I just love the underdog. But yeah, we got a lot of great wrestling coming up in the next 2 weeks and everything. So again, thank you guys. This is my review for the February 11th episodes of AEW Rampage and Smackdown. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification. on the House of Wrestling's YouTube channel and various social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You could follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Dedrian180. That's Dedrin 180. Again, thank you guys to all the subscribers, the new subscribers, and followers on various social media platforms, whether it's my account or the House of Wrestling. Thank you guys. Again, I'm just sharing my fandom with you guys, and got some more in store. But that is all. That is my review for the February 11th episodes of AEW Rampage and Smackdown. Until next time, I'll see you.